So it's practically a 85 page document. And the first one is about scope. And then it is about normative references, basic risk assessment concepts that you should know. This is important. Risk-based inspection, what is the introduction to it? What is it for? And then type of RBI assessment. Planning, how you plan it. Data information collection for RBI assessment. Damage mechanism and failure modes. And then how you do the results. You tabulate the results and assessing probability of failure, assessing consequence of failure, because risk is a combination of probability of failure and consequence of failure. And then the risk determination, assessment and management. And then you will have risk management with inspection activities, risk mitigation activities, reassessment, because this is a live document, whatever report you have. Yeah, although you can increase the half-life rule, but the maximum period that is allowed for the next inspection is 10 years. So for example, if you get by API 510 code 8 years and you get by API 580 10 years, so you go for 10 years inspection interval. But then, because that's a maximum, even if you got like say 15 years, because that's a cap. And then after 10 years, you have to reassess the situation, because things change, you know, the processes change and all that. So you need to reassess that. It's a live document. So then roles, responsibility, training, and qualification. Practically, it is not a one-man show. RBI, you need maintenance engineers, process engineers, corrosion specialists, a team to sort of assess that, to collect the data and find the most predominant corrosion mechanism that can be fatal, because there might be several corrosion mechanisms, but we are looking for the one which has the highest risk. That's all about risk-based inspection, is that you go with the one which has got the highest risk. So you want to eliminate that. So the whole point is, you know, previously, normally a simple, you know, low pressure utility pipe would have been inspected with the same scrutiny or level of inspection than a one-off, say, pressure vessel that could practically shut down the whole plant. And then the idea came that, okay, even if that, you know, utility pipe fails, it's not a big deal. It does not shut down the plant. So why we are giving him the same scrutiny? So you're practically looking for the high risk drivers, high risk areas. That's the whole point or concepts of RBI. And then how you do documentation and record keeping. And then there would be summary of pitfalls. You should not be, you know, over enthusiastic or sort of unnecessarily display the risk much more than what it is. And then there are tables and bibliography. Okay, so if I go to introduction, so you should need to identify risk drivers, inspection methods, extent of inspection. So that's the whole philosophy. I mean, you would have, excuse me, during your normal life, you always go do a risk assessment. If you want to go from point A to point B, you want to see what are the risks and what are the consequences, and what is the, for example, you're going by a car, you have to check that you got enough petrol, your car is roadworthy, your tires are good, your brakes are good, your lights are good. And then, you know, some of them say if you don't have a biscuit to eat, that's not very important, isn't it? So you're looking at high risk areas that automatically it goes through your mind that what you need to check. So you will constantly hear about this POF, probability of failure, and COF, consequence of failure. And the multiplication of this would be the risk. And the risk always exists there. For example, if you do, you're flying by a plane, okay? So the risk is very high if something happens. I mean, most of people will die definitely if there is a plane crash, but the overall risk is very low. I mean, the risk of getting injured or killed in a plane crash statistically is a lot less than driving a car. It has been shown. So the whole point is that to sort of mitigate the risk, all these high risk drivers. So that's the idea of API 580. Look at the high risk drivers, mitigate them, and bring them to an acceptable level of risk.